Hello, this recording is for digestive system. Initially, to start with, let us look at the flow of the food in the digestive system to better understand the body parts in the system. Oral cavity. Oral cavity refers to the mouth. The oral cavity represents the first part of the digestive tube. Its primary function is to serve as the entrance of the digestive tract and to initiate the digestive process by salivation and propulsion of the alimentary bolus into the pharynx. The mouth or oral cavity is made up of numerous components that work together so that you can breathe, speak, and eat and digest food. Next, pharynx. The pharynx is the part of the throat behind the mouth and nasal cavity and above the esophagus and larynx. The tubes going down the stomach and the lungs. Its function is to regulate the passage of the air to the lungs and food to the esophagus. Next, esophagus. The esophagus is a muscular tube connecting the throat, that is pharynx, with the stomach. The esophagus is about 8 inches long and is lined by moist pink tissue called mucosa. Food does not just fall through the esophagus in the stomach. The walls of the esophagus propel food to the stomach by rhythmic waves of muscular contraction called peristalsis. Next, stomach. The stomach is a muscular organ located on the left side of the upper abdomen. The stomach has a dilated structure and functions as a vital digestive organ. In the digestive system, the stomach is involved in the second phase of digestion following chewing. It performs a chemical breakdown due to digestive enzymes and gastric acid to aid in food digestion. There are 5 main regions in the stomach: the cardia, fundus, body, antrum, and pylorus. We will again discuss about parts of the stomach on the next slides. Also, it is important to know about the sphincters of the stomach. The lower esophageal sphincter or the cardiac sphincter is present at the upper portion, cardia, of the stomach. This sphincter prevents the acidic contents of the stomach from moving upwards into the esophagus. Next, the pyloric sphincter at the lower end of the stomach. The pyloric sphincter is a ring of smooth muscles that connect the stomach and small intestine. It opens and closes to control the passage of partially digested food and stomach juices from the pylorus to the duodenum. Next, small intestine, also called the small bowel. It is a long, narrow, folded or coiled tube extending from the stomach to the large intestine. It is present in the central and lower abdominal cavity. It is it is in the small intestine that most of the digestion and absorption of food takes place. The small intestine is also called the small bowel. It's about 20 feet long and about an inch in diameter. It is made up of duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Duodenum. The duodenum connects to the stomach and is the first and the shortest segment of the small intestine. The duodenum plays an important role in regulating the emptying of stomach contents into the small intestine. After food mix with the stomach acids, they move into the duodenum. This partially digested food is called chyme, where they mix with bile from the gallbladder and digestive juices from the pancreas. Thus, the process of enzymatic breakdown of food in the duodenum begins. Next is jejunum. The jejunum is the middle part of the small intestine between the duodenum and ileum. The function of the jejunum is absorption of important nutrients such as sugars, fatty acids, and amino acids. Also, it is important to learn the term peristalsis. Peristalsis is the involuntary smooth muscle contractions that move food through the digestive system. With peristalsis, the semi-digested food from the jejunum is further moved down to the small intestine and the digestive tract. Next, ileum. The ileum is the final portion of the small intestine, measuring about 3 meters. It absorbs nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and water from food, so they can be used by the body. Ileum connects to the cecum, which is the first part of the large intestine. The ileum helps to further digest food coming from the stomach and other parts of the small intestine. Next, large intestine. The large intestine is also known as the large bowel. Water is absorbed here, and the remaining waste material is stored as fecus before being removed by defecation. A small the liquid mixture of I would say the semi-liquid mixture of digested food known as chyme enters the large intestine from the small intestine via the ileocecal sphincter. The large intestine is larger in diameter than the small intestine. It begins at the ileocecal junction where the ileum enters the large intestine and ends at the anus. The large intestine includes cecum, colon, and rectum. Next, cecum. The cecum is the first portion of the large bowel, which is situated in the lower right quadrant of the abdomen, the same side of the body as the appendix to which it is joined. It is a pouch within the peritoneum that is considered to be the beginning of the large intestine. The functions of the cecum are to absorb fluids and salts that remain after completion of intestinal digestion, and absorption to mix its contents with lubricating substance, mucus. Colon. The colon is also known as the large bowel or large intestine. It is the longest part of the large intestine. The colon removes water, some nutrients, and electrolytes from partially digested food. The remaining material, solid waste called stool, moves through the colon and it's stored in the rectum and leaves the body through anus. The colon is divided into 4 parts. The ascending colon that travels up to the right side of the abdomen. Next, the transverse colon runs across the abdomen. The descending colon that travels down the left abdomen, and the sigmoid colon, which is a short curving of the colon just before the rectum. Yeah. The next part to learn is rectum. The rectum is the concluding part of the large intestine that terminates in the anus. The rectum is the most distal part of the large intestine and has an important role as a temporary store for feces before defecation. Next, anus. Anus is the opening at the end of the digestive tract through which the solid waste matter leaves the body. Its function is to control the expulsion of feces, that is unwanted semi-solid matter produced during digestion. The anal sphincter muscles control the passage of the stools. These are the ring-shaped muscles around the anus that keep stool from coming out until they are relaxed during the bowel movement.